I'm Callie and welcome to Kapowski Reads and welcome to a new reading vlog. I have vaguely themed the books that I plan to read in this vlog and they all have pink covers. That is pretty much it. I'm going with it. I am planning to finish 3 books over the spell of this video and I'm gonna tell you all about them, and if I do anything of interest I'll let you know. And if I don't, I'll probably let you know anyway. So I just wanted to share with you the books I'm going to be reading and enjoying. I'm putting it out there. I'm going to enjoy them over this video. First up, I have Veronica by Mary Gaitskill. This is a book about the relationship between a woman who is a model and a little bit older of a lady. And it spans the 80s to like the 2000s, and that's a time period I quite enjoy fiction during, so I am looking forward to this. I am going to be reading The Most Famous Girl in the World. I have that on audiobook, so let's do a little walk at some point. Not right now, it's lunchtime. I need to get back to work soon. I'm just filming my intro, but yeah, I'll probably try and go for a walk and read my audiobook. These 2 books are on my June TBR, so I'm determined to get them finished. And I have another book I plan to read because I'm already kind of halfway through it, so it makes sense to include this. Reality Check by Vicki, Notaro. This is a very shiny book. Hold it that way. Although I'm also very shiny. I did not blend my highlighter today. Yep. I got this book because it was mentioned on a podcast that I enjoy called Flop Culture, and it's just a podcast about things and maybe they weren't as successful as they could have been, and the author was on that podcast. I don't remember what she was talking about, but I remember agreeing with her, so I thought, oh, I'll get your book. You seem fun. We share an opinion on it. Was something like, oh, I can't even remember. I'll double check. I will double check and I will let you know what it was. But we agreed on a point that made me then go and buy her book. This is about the daughter of a reality TV star. I'm thinking like not Desperate Housewives, Real Housewives. So her life is kind of imploding. And at the same time, her sister and mother are going through some stuff. And her youngest sister is being feral. This is a little bit sort of drama, Real Housewives-esque, and that seems like the perfect kind of book for right now. A little bit of a summary read maybe, because I like a nice little light bite. I mean, it's 400 odd pages and it's a big book. Like, it's bigger. This is like a normal paperback size. Again, this is not. So I have 3 books I'm going to read. I have a giant bee banging against my window. I need to go back to work. Am I planning on doing anything this week that is important? Not really. But if I do, we're going to go. We're going to do stuff. That might just be us going for a walk. Who knows? We'll find out together. I'm going to go back to work and then I'll be back with bookish updates. And if anything of note occurs, I'll let you know. Today was my day in the office, so I took my book, Veronica, and I finished it just before work while I had more coffee than I probably should have had. It was delicious. I regret nothing. I finished this book and I feel like I misunderstood what this book was going to be about. I thought it was about the relationship between Alice and Veronica. I thought it would kind of be focusing a little bit on Veronica a bit, but it didn't really. I actually feel like I want to put this book sort of in a collection with other books that I wish I read at a different time in my life, because I think that had I read this book when it came out, I would have been 14 and I would have loved it. I would have just utterly adored it. I would have made this book my personality for a summer or something. Very kind of similar to how I still kind of feel about The Bell Jar. I read it at the right time in my life. Is it a perfect book? No. But does it give me that sort of comfort and kind of remind me of me in a different time? Yes. I don't know if that makes any sense. I think I would have loved this if I was younger. Not to say that it's a childish book or anything. The content is not really something that I would be recommending to a 14-year-old to read. But I know 14-year-old me would have just lapped this up. This book is not about Veronica. This book is about Alice. And Alice is one of 3 sisters. She dreams of a grand kind of life, and she gets to go to Paris. She gets to be a model in Paris. She gets to be a model in New York. She falls in some hard times. She struggles to get work. We get to sort of see her go through her sort of employment journey, if you will. And Veronica only pops up after Alice has started working in an office. So it's kind of not misleading to expect the book to be about Veronica, but a little weird. The book is structured in a very unusual and kind of jumpy way, where paragraph to paragraph, it may not be set in the same time period, where we may have like a flashback or a current day moment, and there's very little to give you any indication with regards to what version of Alice we have. Are we teenage Alice? Are we 40-year-old Alice? Are we 20-year-old Alice? It can be a little disorienting at times to work out which Alice we are getting. I felt like I didn't know Alice that well. Even by the end of the book, I didn't really know anything about her. Like, what's important to her? Who is important to her? What does she want from life? I didn't really know anything about her. I didn't find her to be overly likable. That's not to say that that is important in any way for me when it comes to my enjoyment of a book. I have loved books where the characters are awful. But with those books, I have gotten to know the character, and I have gotten to sort of understand their sort of motivation, why they're being awful. Are they just being awful for funsies, or is there another reason? And if I don't get to know why they're being awful, then I at least get some really fun stories. And I don't feel like I got a fun story. I'm about to get post. So I was not expecting this to arrive, but I'll show you what I got, because why not? I got stuff from Way. This is not sponsored. They don't sponsor me. I would not be annoyed if they wanted to give me hair stuff. I like their hair stuff. I bought I bought a refill of the hair mask that I've been using from Way, but I got it from Boots because I had some Boots points, and that means it was free. But I wanted to refill my conditioner, and they didn't have the refill, like the eco refill of conditioner. So I went to the website and I bought it on the website, because it's cheaper to get the refill and then just fill up the bottle I have than just get bottles and bottles and bottles. So I got, ooh, it's quite big. So many packing peanuts. I got a giant thing, head for scale, of the conditioner. A very fine hair, very thinning at my temples. So I got this, and I thought that I would try, because my dry shampoo ran out yesterday, and I would just get the dry shampoo while I was here. So hopefully the dry shampoo is as good as the other things I've got from this brand, because I like them. Although the downside is they cost more than I would like to spend, but if they make my hair happy, who am I to say no to myself? So that's quite nice, because that means that the only post I'm waiting for just now is tights. I have lost my singular pair of summer tights. So I'm kind of still wearing like thick black tights, and it's been really warm, and I feel like I should wear not thick black tights. I don't know, it just feels like I should be wearing, I have like a nude pair in, you know, alabaster, and I've lost them, or maybe I binned them, they were really ripped. Maybe they maybe I just meant to reorder them and I didn't. Either way, I've got new tights coming because I don't have anything other than thick black tights right now. I do have some other tights, but I don't fit them. And you can't be squeezing yourself into tights that don't fit, because then you're just going to be uncomfortable. And we're trying to enjoy summer. And enjoying summer does not mean feeling uncomfortable, squished like a sausage into tights. So, I have new tights coming. That was a tangent. You don't need to know about my tights. They're not here. I can't tell you anything. Book. Yes. Kind of timey-wimey, a little disorienting, which I usually am okay with. I usually quite enjoy that. But because there was no character growth for Alice, it was a little bit hard to know which timeline we were at. I just didn't feel like I got her as a character, and maybe I didn't dislike her. I didn't know enough about her to really have any strong feelings either way. I just knew I wasn't really interested in her story. I was, however, interested in Veronica. Veronica wasn't in too much of the book, and she wasn't the focus of much of the book, despite the book being named after her. She didn't overly have an impact on Alice, but Veronica at least seemed really interesting. She was quite abrasive as a character, very assertive, very dominant, and I liked her more than anybody else. And I would have liked to have had the book either from her perspective, or like maybe her through other people's eyes, maybe a little bit more of like her stories, because they were interesting. And I just felt like my interest was not captured. There were a lot of musical references throughout the story, which I think might be somewhat relevant, or they might, I don't know. I didn't know most of those songs. And even though the book takes place sort of aughties back to the 80s, I felt I would maybe know a bit more, but I didn't. And I just felt that this was not for me. But I think that me of 20 years ago would have loved this. I would have viewed it as like a coming of age story, which it isn't really, because it's not. I am going to go and refill my conditioner. What an exciting life I lead. I will be back to give you an update, probably drop another book in a little bit. Oh. It has been an absolute just nightmare of a week. So I am out in the rain going to the bakery. I'm gonna get something nice for us to have tonight, but I'm just trying not to get soaked. I have my hat and I'm hoping not to get soaked, but I'm gonna get cake. Either way, I am a winner. I also have 1 hour left of my audiobook, and my thought process was the walk to the bakery and back is about an hour, so I can finish my audiobook and have a sweet treat and yeah, win and get soaked in the rain. Oh. And then when you got home, my box is a little bit wet, but the bakes will be fine. And I kept them flat the whole way. Looks so good. I'm so excited. This one is can I get it out actually? It's a Rice Krispie cake. Kind of melted a little. They posted it on Instagram. They posted it on Instagram. Looked amazing. I have it. I am back from my walk. I have my tiny microphone because I'm doing laundry and the tumble dryer is on and it's quite loud. I went for my walk and I finished my audiobook and I have a lot of feelings. I also got bitten. Something bit me and I'm not happy about it. Clearly, I must have been delicious, but not happy. I did not tell you what my audiobook was about. I'm fairly certain all I did was tell you I was going out to get cake in the rain. That's what I did. I did. I did. I went for my walk. I got my cake. I brought them back. I surprised my boyfriend who just knew I was out for a walk. When I go for a walk, I basically tell him I'm going for a walk. If I'm not back in X amount of, minutes or an hour or whatever, come find me. But he was still working. So he was like, okay. And then I came home and I was like, haha. And he was delighted. And I was delighted. And what a wonderful evening to have cake. Anyway, the book. We're not here to talk about cake. The book. So this is a satire. And really need to stress that this book is satirical because I was talking to somebody about it and they were like, that sounds awful. And I was like, oh no, it's meant to sound awful because it's satire. It's wonderful. I had the best time, such a good time that on my walk, my stepkids drove past. Well, their mum drove past. They were in the car, and I did not even notice them because I was too in the zone in my book, and I was also trying to shelter both myself and my box of bakes from the rain. Okay, this book is about Rose Asani, who is a journalist, and she was integral to the downfall of a scam artiste, shall we say, called Poppy. And Poppy was exposed for her misdeeds and went to prison. And now she's getting out, and Rose spirals. Poppy comes out of prison and is basically a celebrity, just utter beloved, getting all of the work, and her star is shining. And Rose is obsessed with finding out more about Poppy. She thinks that Poppy was involved in a murder, amongst other things, and she is determined to bring Poppy down, send her back to prison. And that is pretty much what the book starts with. This book is wild. It is utterly wild. It starts with a Lady Gaga quote. I don't remember the quote anymore. I wrote it down on a piece of paper, then I recycled that piece of paper. But it was good. It was a good quote. And it let me know instantly the vibe of this book, which was very unserious. Very, very unserious. Rose is self-centered. Rose is obsessive. Rose does not think before she acts. Rose is very open with telling you what body parts she is getting waxed. Very open about that. And I loved her as a character. I have said time and time again, and I will say this forever, I don't need to like a main character. I don't need to like any of the characters in order to enjoy a book. I need to enjoy the ride. I need to enjoy the vibe. I need to have entertaining scenarios, and I will enjoy a book. And I got the entertaining scenarios. This book grew arms and legs, and everything escalated very, very quickly until I was, 60% through the book going, what on earth is going on? And I loved it. There is romance in this book. Did I need the romance? No. Did I like the romance? I didn't. But I liked it for the character. Good for her. But frankly, I don't know. I really don't. An FBI agent? Yawn. Like, How do you know he really is an FBI agent? It's not like anybody knows for certain. This isn't Bones. We don't know. So I didn't really like the romance there. But Rose liked the romance, so good for her. I enjoyed the just ridiculous scenarios that Rose found herself in. There was a moment she climbed into a bin, and I kind of lost my mind on my walk because I walked past multiple giant bins and was like, ha, 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 Rose, are you in there? But I was by myself walking. Nobody was with me. Nobody got my reference. Nobody realized I was being hilariously witty. Just me, which made me lose myself laughing even more. I feel very strongly that the ending of this book, I'm going to choose to just ignore the last couple of chapters. Sorry, the last couple of paragraphs, not the chapters. The last couple of paragraphs of this book. Because I didn't need them. And I didn't dislike them. I just didn't feel that they worked as well in this kind of book. So I was like, wonderful. This for me is a one and done. I don't need a sequel. I feel this is a one and done. I feel it was very clever, very witty. The writing style is perfect. It is told in first person. It is almost like Rose is talking to the reader as a sort of like a diary. I don't know. I felt it worked with the sort of vibe of this being a somewhat unhinged novel. It gave me a little bit of Anna Dorn. If you have read any books by Anna Dorn, it had that sort of tongue in cheek. The book is laughing at itself. These characters, we know these characters are ridiculous. Come laugh with us. It had that sort of vibe. That's what I wanted. I love this book. I gave it 5 stars, even though I did not like the last couple of paragraphs. I didn't dislike them so much that they ruined the book for me. I just choose to believe I didn't read them because I have the power to do that. I am forever grateful to whoever it was that recommended this book to me. I simply cannot remember because I get so many recommendations for which I am always grateful. But whoever it was, thank you, because I love this book and I need to read more books by this author who I do not believe has any other books right now. No, I lie. She does because I looked her up. She's written a book that's like, oh, she does. She has a book that is like a mermaid romance where this woman cannot find love in the real world because nobody can compare to her mermaid boyfriend from a book. Is that right? Is that a plot? That sounds insane. I hope that's the plot of the book because I do have plans to read. Oh, if that is the plot of, let's just double check because I have my iPad like on my table where my tripod is balanced, right? The tripod's going to shimmy and shake while I'm tapping away. Okay, the author actually has 2 other books, so I can read them. Yeah, Female Fantasy, October 25. Yes, Sexy Merman. A Sexy Merman. I'm going to be reading this book when it comes out. I'm going to mark that as want to read. I'm excited. Anyway, I'm going to stop reading Goodreads while I try and record an update on a book. I will be back in a wee bit with my final thoughts and feelings on my last book, which is Reality Check. I am close-ish to the end of it, so I will probably be back. I'll probably film that tomorrow. It will be straight after this section anyway. Yeah, I'll be back in a bit. I'm going to go and read a little bit more about that Sexy Merman book. Maybe I'm going to pre-order it. I have finished my final book and I'm very shiny. It's summer, we're going with it. I had 50 pages left of reality check this morning. So I decided I was going to finish this book reading outside at the back while this purry cat sat and watched me. I made my smoothie. I had said I wanted to make kind of Erewhon dupe smoothies. So I made one this morning for my breakfast. It was a sort of dupe of the Hailey Bieber skin smoothie because if I drink that smoothie, I will have skin like a mid-20-year-old. Is she billionaire now? Yeah, that'll work. Sure. It was delicious. I mean, it was a delicious smoothie. It had a lot of protein in it and it kept me full. Also had a lot of fiber. People sleep on fiber. We should not sleep on fiber. So it was delicious. I drank that while I finished my book, while I pestered the cat into trying to make him love me. And now I finished the book, came in, watched a film. I watched Scooby-Doo 2. Excellent film. Highly recommend. And now I'm ready to talk about this book while I'm shiny. Shiny with SPF. So, reality check. This book is about our main character, Portia, who is the daughter of basically somebody from Real Housewives. And she is going through a little bit of drama in her relationship. Basically, her long-term boyfriend has decided that while when they first met, they both said they didn't want kids, 7 years later, he's turned around and said that he does. She's 38. She's about to be 39 the very next day. You know, bit late to be changing your mind there, Jason. And she is trying to deal with the reality of realizing that the person that she loved and planned to spend the rest of her life together with doesn't want the same things out of life that as she does. So they're kind of not on the same page anymore. All the while, drama has kicked off with her influencer sister and her husband, and Portia needs to go back to her family home and basically help manage the chaos that has ensued. We also have a much younger sister. So Portia is 30, she turns 39 the next day in this book, so I'm calling her 39. She has a younger sister called Vinny, who is sort of this influencer wellness guru. And then there is a much younger sister. She's only 14. Her name is Ariel and she is feral. Utterly feral. And they have this wonderful, just charismatic, endearing mother called Desi, who was a model, then she was an actor, and now she is basically a Real Housewife. And it was such a fun, like, I would say this is a sort of beach read. It's big, 420 pages. It doesn't need to be 420 pages. This book should have been 300 pages because it was really fun and it was generally pretty light, even though there were some horrific things that had happened off of the page. They were kind of mentioned, but not any great detail. So this gave me like summertime, easy kind of candy floss kind of reads, and that was what I wanted. I wanted something that was going to be light, was going to have like no nutritional value at all, and it was just going to be an entertaining fun read, and that's what I got with this. Character wise, I didn't really like Portia. I found that she was really hypocritical. I feel that she was very opinionated about what her ex-boyfriend got up to while they were on their break, but she was doing the same, if not more, while they were on a break. So she was able to do these things but was judging him for doing them too, and that just felt kind of unfair. I felt like all of the siblings were extremely privileged but didn't really appreciate that. There were moments where they said they knew that they had a big leg up that other people wouldn't have had, but at the same time it kind of gave me a little bit of that self-made billionaire when you started with millions. It's not the same as somebody working from nothing up. It's still an amazing achievement, but it's not the same. But I didn't need to like these characters. I wanted this to be a kind of Real Housewives moment, which I felt like it was a mixture between Real Housewives, any franchise, but probably Beverly Hills because it takes place in LA. Is LA Beverly Hills? I'm terrible at US geography. I know Orange County is Florida. I know Salt Lake City is Utah. But generally not the best at knowing where all of these places are, other than they are rich places. But it also kind of felt like Real Housewives meets a rom-com. Like a kind of, not necessarily a Christmas rom-com, but definitely one of those rom-coms by numbers where somebody, big dramatic episode happens, person goes back to the family fold, in the bosom of their family, and romance ensues. I felt that's what it was. It also kind of gave me a little bit of a feeling that this was meant to be a series, because it felt like there were distinct storylines and breaks where like one thing would be resolved, then would have a bit of filler, then another thing would happen, that would be resolved, filler, other thing, resolved. And I kind of wish that it didn't have the filler, because it made the book kind of slow paced at points. And it didn't need to be slow paced. It could have been like a nice fun popcorn read, but it kind of dragged a little bit in places. I know this author was a journalist. So I was a little bit surprised at the sort of moments where the brakes got put on the pacing, but I liked it. It was fun. It was light. It was ridiculous. The characters were ridiculous. I did, however, absolutely adore their mother, Desi. I thought she was just a lamb. I really liked her, and I really liked the way that she kind of had tried to keep her children's feet on the ground. Failed a lot with the last one, but you could see she was trying to work to do something to combat her feral child. But I really liked it. I had a good time with this. I just wish it wasn't quite as long, because the pacing just went a little bit off for me. But it was, yeah, if you like a nice reality TV moment and you want it in a book form and you want a little bit of a rom-com, then I would go for this. There is smutty bits in it. I wasn't expecting that. We got them. Did we need them in this book? I don't know. It felt like we were just trying to make up pages, and I already felt that there wasn't enough story for the number of pages there were. So they felt, again, a little bit like filler, but that's just me. I laughed. I did cry, which was quite embarrassing because I was in the garden crying at my book. That sounds like something I do often, because it's something I do often. So I have finished my 3 books, my 3 pink books. I've had a great time. Taking it as a win. Let me know if you've read any of these books or if you're interested in reading them. If you want to share what you have been reading lately, let me know. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.
I love you. Aww. Moving on. Actually, before we move on.